We are counting down the 6 most impactful American armored vehicles of the Vietnam War, ranking them by how well they balance firepower, protection, and real-world effectiveness in the jungle battlefield. From niche support platforms repurposed for new missions to iconic tanks tested by intense combat, these entries reveal surprising strengths and critical flaws. Which vehicle truly shaped the conflict? Let us begin with number 6. The M42 Duster was not designed as a tank. It started as a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun, but in Vietnam it found a new purpose. Twin 40mm Bofors autocannons, meant for shooting down planes, became a nightmare for enemy infantry. Dusters rolled with convoys along Highway 1 and guarded fire bases, unleashing rapid bursts that tore through jungle ambushes. After-action reports credit the Duster with saving dozens of supply runs. Its high rate of fire forced Viet Cong fighters to scatter. Crews sometimes burned through thousands of rounds in a single night. Despite thin armor and no anti-tank weapons, the Duster's open turret and heavy firepower made it a favorite for perimeter defense. Loss rates stayed low, and maintenance logs show that most Dusters survived their tours. While it could not duel enemy armor, the M42 proved that even a niche vehicle could adapt and deliver real results on the ground. The M67 Zippo brought a different kind of firepower to Vietnam, literally. Built on the M48 chassis, it replaced the main gun with a flamethrower capable of projecting a stream of burning napalm up to 280 yards. In the tangled tunnels and fortified bunkers of places like Cu Chi, the Zippo's flame could clear enemy positions in seconds, making it one of the most feared weapons among Viet Cong defenders. A single burst could empty its 365-gallon fuel tank in under a minute, forcing crews to rely on a constant supply of specialized fuel trucks just to stay in action. Despite its devastating impact on the battlefield, only about 24 Zippos ever saw combat in Vietnam at the same time. Pentagon officials, wary of international backlash and the political cost of using napalm, kept deployments limited. For all its tactical value in bunker busting, the Zippo's reach was always restricted by logistics and controversy. It earned its place on the list for raw effectiveness, but it never shaped the wider war. The M41 Walker Bulldog brought speed and agility to the battlefields of Vietnam, but it came at a price. Armed with a 76mm gun and weighing less than half as much as a Patton, the Bulldog could dart down narrow trails or race ahead of infantry columns, making it ideal for reconnaissance patrols. Most Bulldogs were handed over to the South Vietnamese Army, where their crews used that mobility to scout enemy positions, escort convoys, and respond quickly to sudden threats. But the Bulldog's light steel armor was never meant to withstand the kind of firepower the North Vietnamese brought to bear. Mines and recoilless rifles could tear through its hull, and after-action reports from ARVN units often listed multiple Bulldogs lost in a single ambush. Survivability became a constant concern. What the tank gained in speed, it lost in protection. Training and maintenance also suffered during Vietnamization, as spare parts grew scarce and experienced American mechanics rotated out. Still, when it came to hit-and-run tactics or flanking maneuvers, the M41's quick reflexes were hard to match. Its story is a sharp reminder that in Vietnam, agility and firepower could only go so far if armor could not keep up. The M113 Ace AV became the backbone of American mechanized infantry in Vietnam, rolling out as a simple armored personnel carrier, but quickly transformed into a mobile gun platform. Crews bolted on a 50 caliber machine gun on the roof and 2 M60 machine guns on either side, turning the M113 into a rolling fortress that could lay down a wall of fire. In battles like Ap Bao Bang, cavalrymen used these armored boxes to punch through ambushes, blasting back at Viet Cong fighters from close range. The ACAV's open hatches let gunners react fast, but left them exposed to snipers and shrapnel. Its aluminum hull could stop small arms, but mines were a different story. Over 8,000 M113 vehicles were lost during the war, most to mines buried in roads and trails. Despite the danger, crews became experts at field repairs, swapping out tracks and welding on scrap metal armor right at the roadside. The M113's ability to haul troops, mount heavy firepower, and keep moving made it a fixture in every major offensive and a lifeline for infantry on patrol. But every ride was a gamble. One wrong step and a mine could rip through the belly, leaving the vehicle in flames. The ACAV's sheer numbers and constant presence made it one of the most important and most vulnerable armored vehicles in the conflict. The M551. Sheridan arrived in Vietnam as a promise of modern firepower and speed, weighing just 17 tons and built with an aluminum hull. Its main weapon, a 152mm gun and missile launcher, could fire both shells and Shillelagh anti-tank missiles, an impressive leap for a light, air-droppable tank. Crews valued the Sheridan's ability to cross soft ground where heavier tanks bogged down, and in theory its gun could destroy any enemy vehicle on the battlefield. But the Sheridan's cutting-edge design came with dangerous trade-offs. The lightweight armor, meant to keep the tank mobile, left it vulnerable to mines and RPGs. The aluminum hull, while innovative, offered little protection when things went wrong. That risk became reality at Firebase Neville in February 1970. A Sheridan took a direct hit, and the ammunition inside cooked off in a chain reaction. The resulting explosion was so violent that it tore through the hull, killing the crew instantly and scattering debris across the perimeter. The incident forced the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment to pull all Sheridans from the field for inspection. Army memos from the time revealed deep concern about the tank's survivability, especially after lost tables from operations like Lam Son 719 showed double-digit write-offs. In that campaign alone, more than 10 Sheridans were destroyed by mines, RPGs, and direct fire from enemy tanks. Aberdeen Proving Ground tests only confirmed what crews already knew. Enemy weapons could penetrate the Sheridan's armor with ease. Despite its flaws, the Sheridan's mobility and firepower kept it in service through the end of the war. It could move quickly, hit hard, and support airborne or cavalry units where no other tank could go. But every mission carried the risk of catastrophic loss. For all its innovation, the Sheridan's story in Vietnam is a cautionary tale. Unmatched firepower and speed, but paid for in vulnerability and heavy losses. The M48A3, Patton, stood at the top of the American armored arsenal in Vietnam, earning its reputation through a mix of firepower and protection and adaptability. Weighing in at just under 50 tons, the Patton carried a 90mm main gun that could punch through enemy bunkers and armored vehicles alike. Its diesel engine gave it better reliability and range than earlier gasoline models, a critical advantage during long operations in the field. Crews relied on the Patton's thick steel armor, which could shrug off small arms fire and older anti-tank weapons, giving them a sense of safety that lighter vehicles could not match. The Patton's effectiveness was never just about brute strength. Night vision equipment, including infrared searchlights and periscopes, allowed crews to spot enemy movement after dark, a game-changer in battles like Ben Het, where American tanks held off North Vietnamese PT-76 tanks in a nighttime duel. The 90mm gun, loaded with canister or beehive rounds, could sweep jungle clearings of attacking infantry, sending thousands of steel flechettes into the tree line with each shot. In the streets of Hue during the Tet Offensive, Pattons led the way, smashing barricades and silencing enemy positions, often taking hits from rocket-propelled grenades and recoilless rifles, but pressing forward. Despite its strengths, the Patton was not invincible. Mines and modern rocket-propelled grenades could breach its armor, and breakdowns in mud or rocky ground sometimes left tanks stranded. Crewmen adapted by welding on extra armor or draping sandbags over vulnerable spots, always searching for an edge. Maintenance logs and after-action reports tell the story of a vehicle that demanded constant attention but paid it back in battlefield results. At Ben Het, Pattons destroyed multiple enemy tanks, while in 1972, Army of the Republic of Vietnam crews used them to knock out 16 T-54s in a single engagement. Veterans who served on Pattons describe a tank that inspired both respect and confidence. It was the one vehicle that could be counted on to deliver when the fighting got heavy, whether in the close quarters of a city or the open stretches of a firebase perimeter. While no tank in Vietnam was perfect, the M48A3 Patton delivered the best balance of firepower, survivability, and impact, earning its place as the most effective American tank of the war. Across all these armored vehicles, one truth emerges. Technology alone couldn't dictate battlefield success. In Vietnam, adaptability mattered more than firepower or armor. That legacy shapes modern conflicts, where environments, tactics, and human ingenuity still outweigh raw hardware. The real test for any tank is the war it faces next.